chilling. Alright, well, make sure I'm gonna go to the stream myself and then make sure all the stuff we can hear y'all. So stop.
Hello.
Okay, Cole. I get it. I should
sorry.
never ever have asked if you're gonna talk like this or you're gonna have your voice higher. I'm sorry for doubting you, Colpevole.
Oh, I see. You didn't
Okay,
think I was going to be able to predict.
no. I apologize.
Oh no, that's how I'm
Yeah.
going to be speaking the whole stream. I'm sorry. It's over.
No. Oh my God, the stream is dead.
Am I actually too loud?
You're fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just had to turn you down from 200 to 150, but you were fine. You're fine.
Yeah, you're fine. They can hear you. They can hear y'all. Alright, we're good. Cool. Alright. Well, I need to make sure. I gotta wait for people to come in here in the first
I was
place.
gonna say probably give people a little bit of
like
time.
like 5-10 minutes at most.
Start
Yeah,
the
that's why I
stream.
have it starting soon.
Start
Yeah.
the stream in a minute and just go.
Bruh, no, not like that.
Yeah, that's why I have the thingy on starting soon. You know. Alright. Now I'm gonna make it so like whoever's talking, like they appear, because like I don't want to be like they're just there on mute, obviously. So let me do that real quick. So voice overview. Hide names? No. Speaking only. Solo speaking use only. Yes. Turn this
So
on.
I just killed. Wait, am I live?
Yeah, we are live.
Oh damn. Well, anyways, I just killed the fattest fly I've ever seen in my life. Holy shit.
Oh,
Yeah,
was it
that's
really
what you
that
get.
fat?
That's what you get. 10-0
Yeah.
matchup. Get bodied. Me and
Wow.
this science check now? No, body.
I see you. Well, that's pretty funny, if you ask me.
No, it was fun because it was standing there. I'm like, you know why you didn't move? Because you were fat.
Damn, that's kind of rough.
That's a fat fly. Yeah, no, but anyways, I'm done.
Yeah, I said that's kind of rough just to say like, oh man, you can't move. Fat.
Yeah, I don't need to have volume for the stream.
Yeah, you don't. Just you also have the stream open just for comments.
Yeah, that's what I was honestly gonna do, anyways, just to have it on for comments.
Yeah. So you can answer questions if they have them, that is. So I'm gonna give them like, let's say, up to we're 3 minutes in right now. I'd say I can give them up to like maybe 4 or 5 minutes, and then we can start.
Yeah. Oh, let me put it on some Discord. Remember, I know there were some people that actually wanted to know.
Oh yeah, some people actually wanted to they want to MU knowledge stuff, and I was like, oh, let's go, cool. So
I'm gonna go put it in. No, you can do that one. I'm not touching that one. I know where I'm gonna put it though. Yeah,
wow.
No, free.
That's crazy. Damn, that's pretty funny if you ask me. That's fine. A lot of people are funny, so I understand you. I actually understand you.
I'm gonna wait. I'm fine.
Let me do not clip. Copy link. Alright, yeah. Let me actually just give it to you. Give me this and post it in BBTAG General. It's time. Is it raining outside? It is. Okay, well, that's funny.
It's nice and sunny here in California, as it is every other 364 days anyway.
It's fairly nice here as well, which it most certainly is usually not.
Yo. Wait, how's usually the weather then?
The weather in New Jersey is usually quite terrible.
Is it
At least during summer.
Oh, okay. Does New Jersey get what was it, the 4 seasons in 1 month kind of thing?
No, that's New York.
Oh, okay. No, because when I lived in North Carolina, it had that where I legitimately was so bipolar where I would get all 4 seasons in 1 month sometimes.
I remember the time in New York when it was 20 degrees for 20 degrees at maximum for Fahrenheit maximum for most of winter,
Yeah,
and then on Christmas Day specifically, it was 75 degrees.
bro. No, not like this.
And then December 26th, back to 20. People wore
Nah,
tank tops for one day just for Christmas. They had their colorful Christmas tank tops on.
nah.
Wow, that's mad funny. Let me see. Copy
Actually, I know what I can do.
this.
I can do this.
Change the source, because
So can
this.
everybody hear us? Okay, is that are we all coming through? All right, over the stream.
Y'all should.
Well, I know we should, but I just want to make sure we are actually.
Yeah. Should be. I mean, hopefully. I mean, that'd be a problem.
I don't think that's a question you can answer unless.
Yeah, they're talking about in the chat like maybe
Yes.
weather was weird, right? So I think they can hear you.
All right, perfect. Good that everyone can hear us.
Uh-oh.
So I was
Oh.
about to go off. Well, not really. How much more time should we give?
What's the problem?
Well, fuck. We're good. I just had the Discord thing again. Hold on.
Oh my god. Okay, so super quick chat of gotcha, Cope, right? Super quick. I'm doing I'm doing the bull what was it? The bull challenge quest, right?
Uh-huh.
I'm doing it with 2 John rulers and Maj. How many turns? How about that? I'm not done. If that's what I'm just saying. I'm not
You're in the 430s right now.
4:30. No. Okay. No, I'm ready in turn
That's
5:55.
good.
555. Okay, impressive.
I already
Wow,
broke
you
1 bar, but but I still have 2.
Hold
Um,
on.
yeah. I am lame. Like yeah. But yeah, back to the real conversation.
Whoa. Uh, well, actually, fuck that. I don't care. Well, whatever about that. Since people are here now. This is the Yumi guide, and today we're gonna I'm featuring, two my good friends, Colpevole
Hello.
and Monkey, so-called player, and yeah,
Damn. Okay, don't give me my numbers, but that's fine. Yo, what's up, guys and
I mean,
and ladies?
your numbers don't matter that much, but
Oh,
it's fine.
okay.
Okay, but anyway, I'ma just turn it over to them because they're gonna really be doing most talking and whatever. So yeah, I'll just be doing visual examples of shame of what they're talking about. So yeah, I'll be around. So anyways, I'll turn it to you guys and good luck.
All right.
Question? Yeah.
Thank you very
Wait.
much.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So as Fia said, we're going to be talking about Yumi, one of the more basic but also very strong characters in BBTAG. She's mainly a supporting character. You don't really build teams around Yumi. You mostly put her on teams to make your point character stronger. But it doesn't mean she isn't strong in her own right. She has very good damage, strong buttons, incredible projectiles, absolutely fantastic setups, and incredibly fast ground movement. Unfortunately, she has a couple weaknesses as well. I know everyone knows about her strengths. We always play them up. But her mid-range buttons are a little slow. Her 5B coming in at 13 frame startup. Not the best to just throw out there against characters with long-range, mid-range pokes. Her anti-air is on the weaker side. And her DP, not the strongest thing in the world either. So pretty much Yumi's objective when she's on the screen is she kind of wants to stall the opponent out, make sure they can't really enforce their game plan as quickly as they want to. She slows the game down, lets the character in the back heal up a little bit. She tries to set the point character up to get in and start sandwiches so that she can enforce her incredibly high damage output, and then also switch back to give her her assist support to her point character. Now, I said that she's mainly a support, and you can pretty much put her on any team. For the most part, any good point character and even some of the weaker point characters are happy to have Yumi supporting them. But she does have some very, very powerful teams, namely Yumi Adachi, which is a team that for some degree of time actually was looking like it was going to kill BBTAG. Luckily, that didn't quite happen. And also, this one's more seen on the West Coast and in Japan, but Yumi Seth, which is just a very, very powerful Seth team that can pretty much kill you in one hit and has tons of mix-ups. Overall, if you're looking to play Yumi, and really you should, she's an incredibly powerful character, you can pretty much put her with almost anyone. The only characters she doesn't work that well with are your more supportive characters. So characters like Hyde or Liz aren't going to make the best partners for Yumi, but that's all right. She can still support maybe 60 to 70% of the cast. Now, her best assets, as I said earlier, are her assists. And I'm going to let Monkey go over those now.
Okay, she is by far the best overall support in the game. I would say dethroning someone like Ruby very easily once she came out in 2.0. 5P has so much block stun that you're almost guaranteed to always jump over and go into like an easy cross combo and set up a free sandwich. Also, it's one of those things where what was it, great for combo extensions that doesn't prorate the combo too much, so it's easy for when you're doing cross combos that 5P is usually your go-to for basic like B&Bs with your cross combos between the characters you're using. 4P is on the weaker side. The range is it's more on defensive usage, but if let's say it's not one of those 4Ps where you can be like Rubies or Jins, where if they burst and you can use Yumi's 4P, it's not the most ideal. It's effective, but you're mostly going to be using 5P to punish burst. The great staggers, and it's easy for your character to your point character to recover for most techs, being like back tech or neutral tech. You're able to still continue your combo. While the reason why a lot of people give Yumi the credit as the best support value is 6P. That move alone is so versatile. It enables so many characters to play to their play style. It's not dictated by just you can use 6P for sandwich. I mean, to apply pressure, you can use it or how can I say it? More so is just it's so versatile that you can honestly use it to what any character you see fit. One of the many benefits of 6P is the fact that it restands, meaning that it it stops the combo, but it stops the combo standing if you so choose. Like if you don't want to continue the combo, it still keeps them standing. So yeah, in a game like BBTAG, it's so threatening because keeps them standing. You can actually go for an easy 2A and it becomes a reset. You can go for a simple what was it, grab, and the grab, because they're restanding, if they don't tech right, you can get an easy TRM in situations like that. 6P at the same time enables certain characters, specifically like my to recreate her 1.3 gimmick of DP assist, and it just creates a lot of situations where it's free get in for the point character that you want to use. Let it be the 70% of the cast that Colpevole did mention. It's just a free get in. It's 3 projectiles. The first 2 are basically together, while the third is actually almost a separate hit, so to say, which also enables just easy mix-ups. If you're gonna be using Yumi as an assist, always try and find out what's the best usage that you can find with your point character that you want to use Yumi for. 6P is how versatile can you make it? Just the restand, just the damage output, and easy mix-ups that 6P gives is what makes Yumi so threatening. Um, and let's say you don't even want to apply pressure, they're in a panic situation and they DP because is a restand, right? So they are also given an action, right? And if they DP upon your point character, well, now they can burst, right? Now you're getting free damage, setting up as much damage as you want, or set up some kind of set play, that whatever you choose. So 6P is her most defining assist that puts her as the best supporter in the game, uh, alone. Yes.
Now, just to add a couple of things to what Monkey said there, the real benefit for 6P as far as neutral goes as well is that it acts as a full horizontal screen grab. You take control of the entire horizontal space. The opponent either has to block, has to hit Yumi, or has to jump if you've called 6P. And the reason that's so good with many characters is you're just going to force them to react to what you're doing without having to commit too much yourself. You can sort of think of Yumi as a somewhat power crept Gordeau, in a sense. She is capable of controlling the same sort of space as old Gordeau was capable of doing, while also enabling restands and silly mix-ups. Plus her 6P goes full screen, whereas Gordeau's did not. Now, of course, sometimes... is there anything else you wanted to add to that, Monkey? Sorry.
No, I think it's just true. It's one of those things where you have to, in order to counterplay 6P, you have to have usually another 6P or a 5P from your opponent as the opponent, right? That honestly just snipes that out, because it does have startup frames. It's not instant like it would be Gordeau's 6P back in the day, or even to this day. I'm sorry. So it's one of those things where it is very easily snipeable. The thing is, though, is that if the point character sees this, sometimes you actually put them in a happy birthday situation, or even just a bad situation where their sister's out for too long to try and hit Yumi. So it becomes a little RPS, where if you know they're looking for the Yumi assist, do you call it out, right? And it's more so is that you're the one ironically controlling the pace just because you have the more threatening 6P, because they're usually counter calling. So if you space your 6P right, their assist being 5P or 6P cannot punish, and it's going to leave their assist vulnerable for a good amount of time, which you can either hit for a bit and condition the opponent that you're going to continue to hit and start a birthday. So it's a very mind game based game, but Yumi 6P, honestly, you control that time period and you control the pace just off that move alone.
So now I think we can get to the fun part, which is Yumi on point. Now, as I said at the beginning, this is not a character that is the strongest on point in the game. That's not to say that she can't do it. She most certainly can. But it's not her primary role. Sometimes, however, you're just going to have her out on point. Either your character in the back needs to heal, your original point character, that is, or she just has a good matchup in a situation, or you've active switched and you found yourself with Yumi on point. Now, the first really big and important thing to know about Yumi on point is she does absolutely ludicrous damage. If you catch somebody with a single 5A and go into 214BA, the damage off of that alone is going to be enough to make them think about ever pushing a button against Yumi at all. You can call an assist to extend the combo, do it again, You get she gets her 214 BA Rekka loops. I'm sure many people are very aware when they've looked at their health bar just evaporate and have taken 15,000 damage for no reason off of 5A. Solo, her combos aren't quite as interesting, but they're still there. Now, solo, pretty much what you're going to do is you're just going to run through the gauntlet of normals. You're going to go 5AAA, you're going to go 5BB twice, 2C, 214B, BB, BA, etc. into your knockdown. That's pretty much the basic Yumi B and B. So.
I was gonna say real quick. I know that in some cases where you do get a happy birthday just off of how good 5A is, happens pretty often. It is sometimes more beneficial to go for a BB ender and hope that you keep both characters in the record string. Just so that you hope in a sense of RNG that when you go into aerial rave, both characters still are in the combo, in which case that's an easy 6K, including going into your cross combos and stuff like that. That is just so that's an easy 10K off both characters, and stuff like that. But I would say that if you are on point or just one, or you just hit one character on point, it is more ideal to go for a 2C ender after 5BB, not 5BBB, uh, just for better of how can I say, to stabilize the combo better, as well as it's just slightly more damage. And by slightly, I mean it's just 9. Yes, just 9.
It's always important to get maximum damage, even with a character like Yumi, though. Now, one thing I'd like to add to that is I forget who it was, and I apologize to this person, but somebody figured out how 214BA's Happy Birthday worked. It's based on the flag, pretty much, of which character is, I think, active. I don't know the details of it too much. Unfortunately, I should have looked into it before we started the stream. That's my fault. But I do know that if you did get into a happy birthday situation and you want to guarantee you can get both characters into the aerial rave, unless you have one gigantic character and one tiny character and some weird hitbox interaction happens, you can use 236C and it will guarantee the pickup on both characters.
I would say the best way that I think the best scenario, if you hit someone with a straight Rekka, which is very unlikely, but on the instance that you do get counter hit 214B, you can actually dash cancel 6/6 into 236C, and that is the most ideal scenario you can go for to being 1, max damage, and 2, continuing the happy birthday. But it's very unlikely. But if that scenario ever does happen, it's actually very good to know. You're practically going to kill both characters, depending on your meter.
You can see the damage. It's
yes.
Absolutely insane. Now, of course, Yumi's not just a combo monster. You got to play some neutral. I hate to admit it. Like, I know everyone in BBTAG, we all want to get in, do our offense, run our crazy game plans and stuff. Unfortunately, every once in a while, you have to play neutral. And luckily, Yumi's neutral is very good. She has excellent buttons to contest air to air and ground to ground. 5A is an incredibly fast, at 6 frames, one of the fastest 5As in the game, button that can be used to stop characters dead in their tracks if they're air dashing at you, if they're jumping at you, if they're running at you, so long as they don't have a button that they can swing to outrange it. 5B, or let me just let the 5A play out real quick.
Yes, it's also one of those things that just to bring up, 5A actually moves you forward. It's not one of those 5As that just is also stationary. It actually moves you forward. So that's actually another good thing, that when people be like, oh my god, how are they counter poking me, or how did they counter hit my normal? It's actually because Yumi moves forward slightly after pushing 5A. So that's one of those things to consider when playing against her. Is certain characters that, let's say, would get away with certain moves before, just because while their normals would be negative, just didn't have the range to punish. Yumi actually moves forward enough at times to actually be able to punish said characters, and that alone is very threatening, and it makes a lot of characters that would get away with a lot of stuff reconsider.
Now, moving on to 5B, this is an excellent button. It's one of her better starters. It also has an incredibly long range for a character like this. As far as a neutral button goes, you can just kind of dash in someone's face and press it. It doesn't lead to the best pressure afterwards, but if you tag them, their character might as well be dead. It's always a threat that someone is going to have to worry about. She also has excellent air normals. JA is 8 frames. Incredibly quick. Pretty big for what it is, too, honestly. I'm not even sure really what they were thinking about giving it to her, but hey, I'll take it. I play the character, so. JB is also a very good jump in for the type of character that Yumi is. And finally, if your opponent is looking to anti-air you, say they have a decent anti-air, maybe you're fighting against Narukami, or in this example, Seth. Seth doesn't really have that great of an anti-air, but it exists. You can use JC to stall your air movement, get a hit, and if you have assist bar, you can get a combo off of it by calling an assist afterwards.
Another thing to point out is that JB is also a high, so it's not something where while JA you can crouch it, JB you cannot. You will get clipped high for crouching. So in instances where she can IED or play a bit, she does get, like, let's say a one mix up, one knockdown. If she does IED JB, it is a high. So something to consider while playing against her and using her. Great button, comes out very fast. Leads in, or you can always go JB into straight into 5A and always get a basic bread and butter combo with her. Another thing to note is her 2A, which is 7 frames, which is still a great button. It is a low, and it is actually +0 on block. So it's one of those things where it's still theoretically your turn. So more so when you push 5A, which adds to staggers and whatnot. JC is a great tool because just like JB, it is also an overhead. And in corner situations, it does, for whatever reason, it does steal the corner and it becomes a cross up. Why does she have it? I don't know, but I'm not complaining because I also play that character. But she does have that for her. So her best normals, while JA is faster, it's more. You're more reliable if you want to go for a mix-up, going using JB or JB into JC, being like a triple overhead with the character. Great tool of certain knockdowns or just pressure altogether.
Now you'll notice we have failed to mention a couple of normals. The first one I'll talk about is 2C. 2C it's not a very special normal. It's 2 hits, which makes it pretty good for active switching, but outside of that, as far as neutral goes, you won't be really using this one. Yumi gets pretty low to the ground, but it's got a long recovery and it doesn't really do anything special. You also can't go into any other normals afterwards, meaning it's relatively unsafe to just throw out. And then there's also Yumi's 2B. Now, she needed some weakness. Here it is. We found it. Yumi's 2B is not head invul until the 9th frame, and coincidentally, it starts up on the 9th frame. As far as anti-airs go, it is on the weaker side. A lot of good jump-ins, such as Adachi JB or Mitsuru JB, can outright stuff the move. You really have to be throwing it out early if you want to land a hit off of it. Luckily, you get a decent combo because Yumi's damage is so high. But you have to be very careful with how you utilize a relatively slow anti-air like this one with not a great hitbox. The funny note on it is it can low profile a couple of moves, but it doesn't move forward or anything, so I wouldn't use it for that purpose.
I do it. Yeah. That is her one biggest flaw. I do. It's one of those things where it's funny enough while her 2B is complete trash, or this is or not as utilized. We do have another button that honestly replaces that, being 5A. But again, just as set characters that Colpevole just mentioned, being Adachi and Mitsuru, 5A will not save you. You're just dead. In scenarios like that, if you know where they're coming, it's honestly best just to DP. Um, Against Mitsuru, maybe not so much. Depends on scenarios and stuff like that. But against Adachi going IED JB on you, trying to get a cross up or anything like that, DP is usually your best answer, because it's a DP that hits all around her, which it does stop I cross ups like JB with Adachi. Yeah.
Now, her basic overall strategy for applying all of these buttons really depends on the team you're playing. If you're playing a team like, say, Blake or Seth, whose assists are very easily capable of crossing the opponent up, you can mostly just throw those assists out there and cover them with Yumi's excellent 5B or jump in normals and get free sandwiches. Otherwise, you're mostly looking to zone the opponent out, stall, wait a little bit, try to see how they're going to move around you. Really set up your point to get into a very good position where you can active switch back again. We're going to go over some of these special moves in just a second. Fia's showing them off right now, which is helpful. Those are mostly what you're going to be using to get your actual point character back into the game. Speaking of specials, she has Snowbird, which Fia's showing off. Pretty much it's your standard fireball if you use the A version, although it freezes on hit. And if you use the B version in the air, you get an angled fireball. It covers an excellent angle, basically cuts the screen in half diagonally, which completely stops people from moving. It's very fast for the sort of move it is as well. Punishing this thing is very, very difficult. On the ground, she also has regular 236B, which is her 6P as well. And pretty much what that does is it is a very slow series of projectiles that freeze the opponent. This move is excellent if you've put your opponent in block stun with a full screen assist or something and you want to active switch. Or a cross-up assist, such as Blake's, for example.
Another thing to know about Snowbird being such a good tool or special move in general is that you're actually still given an air action afterwards. You don't need to just toss in one bird and call it a day. No, you can actually repeat and just continue flying until you touch the ground. And if you actually have never used an air action outside of Snowbird, you're actually able to jump or IED for free. You're still giving yourself a free pressure. As long as you never give up your second action of air, your second air action. I'm sorry. You're actually able to do an IED, second jump, and still call pressure relatively easily. Snowbird, for as it stands, is very good to just poke, see, and control the pace of neutral for Yumi while she is indeed letting the point character cool down a bit. It's also one of those things where it also restands if on hit. Um, Granting, you can always just switch out or apply pressure or just continue to control the pace of the game. Um, I do believe it's also one of those very moves that is actually very underutilized amongst Yumi players that are in. They don't value how highly this move can truly be annoying, uh, and it really can set the pace. So as if you're trying to pick up Yumi, try and utilize Snowbird's angles, its speed, its fast recovery. Um, it will make your life a lot easier.
Now, you do have to be a little bit careful about just spamming the regular air versions of the move. People can run under it and they can hit you. It's a little tough, but if they know it's coming, they will punish you for it.
Of course.
And Yumi's going to have some trouble with certain characters, just running at her and getting past her snowbirds. But the reason we're saying this move's praises so much is just how much control it gives you. One of the main strategies you're going to see out of a lot of very strong Yumi players, and unfortunately, Fio's team isn't going to be able to show it off too well here, but the general idea is still going to be, I think, pretty easy to see. You'll see Yumi players get some space. They will do, super jump, B snowbirds. I actually don't know if that's even the name of the move. I'm just going to call it that because it's what she says in English, and I think it's funny. But they're going to do that. They're going to call usually a 6P or a really far advancing 5P, and they're just going to cover an absolutely huge portion of the screen and get Yumi in. What you can do, you can super jump with it. You can throw out the 236B plus your 6P. And as Monkey was saying earlier, you keep your air actions. You can air dash in under the coverage of your 6P, which you covered with your snowbird, and get in. This character is very strong or this tool is very strong in this sense.
One of those I think great assists that, or even to get your point character back in is using what was it, J236B, which is her angled snowbird, and it's easily covers the spot where your assist will usually recover from. This is more based on if it's either a 5P or a 6P, or even if you just want to be safe and you want to do a 4P and straight into 236 JB and just have your point character relatively safe. Now, if they call this out, you are uh, usually in in a bad predicament. But as long as you check their meters and you see the scenarios of what they're doing, it's actually a very easy way to let your assist back in for free and still keep your cross gauge relatively full.
But she does have other specials. We have been somewhat neglecting them for the glory that is Snowbird, I can say. Oh, actually, you know what? I'm going to keep going Snowbird for just one more second. We didn't talk about 236C. J236C is absolutely insane. It throws 3 at an incredible pace, and you recover almost instantly. If Danger Time is active, which starts at 80 seconds on the clock and rapidly builds your meter for free, you can just kind of spam this one. The opponent can't do much to stop you. They have to call it out. Covers an absolutely ludicrous angle, as you can see. You can use it as a panic tool. You can use it to run away. You can use it to get in. You can pretty much just throw it out if you have a meter surplus and aren't sure what else to do with it.
Another thing to also note would be if you are in residence, if let's say you are in residence 3 or 4, and you're building your meter relatively fast, that chip racks up very quickly. And because stated earlier, she does carry an error action. If the opponent is not push blocking you, she does get a free get in. And if she just does one hit, well, there goes all your health plus some. Usually because, well, she just gets a combo. All her moves have so much hits on that one good hit from EX Snowbird does a relatively like 6 to maybe 7k. I say 7k due to the fact that they're first taking off the gray health or red health. I'm sorry, and afterwards, it's your turn, easy. It's in your face, easy chip, and very good tool, offensive and defensively.
I can't really think of a character in this game that actually can just ignore EX Snowbird. It's not much you can do about it. Very good move. But like I said, she has other specials as well, mainly her Rekka 214A, which is one that we haven't gotten to speak about yet, which has a bunch of follow-ups to it. Like I said, it's a Rekka move, so you've got your general Rekka shenanigans with frame traps and stuff. It's not that great for neutral, but whatever. It has a B attachment to it, which is very plus on block and deceptively far range. Unfortunately, it's a little slow. Once again, not the best sort of poke that you can stick out there. But it is very plus on block. 214-2C is, or 214A 2C, sorry, is a slow but nice occasional surprise to throw out. It's a little similar to Mitsuru's Tentarafu. It can be jumped over and punished pretty easily. Uh, but it's a low, and on hit, it will go straight into Aerial Rave. You can call in your partner character if they're still alive, and you can get a full combo off of it. And as with all Aerial Raves from Yumi, it does absolutely ludicrous damage. Um, and finally, there's 214, a C, which is the overhead version, and it's pretty much the only special move you're not going to see good Yumi players use too much. A lot of Yumi players online will try to mix people up with it, um, but that's something that should be done very sparingly. It's pretty slow. Actually, let me just.
While she is looking into that, yes, it is one of those cheesy resets. While very online tactic, it is still a good tactic to go for. Nonetheless, it's something where one good reset between 5C or 2C after 214 A is practically a dead character. It's just ridiculous. But all both options, um, they're very negative. And so if the opponent, if you're looking out for it and you can see the difference between 214A and B, you can usually expect a cheesy reset. And both lose just as long as you're mashing a 5A, a DP, you're relatively fine. But now let's say that you do hit the 5C, which is the overhead, and do get a combo. Your usual starter is 5A. Now the 5A into regular B&B is very basic. The most damage and most ideal scenario that if you do hit the overhead is actually to go straight into her B Rekka. Uh, Ignore all the combos and everything, and go straight for a Rekka, go straight into aerial wave, and just do not let the opponent burst any of that. Um, if you do, it's just an easy 10k at very minimum, but 10k in this game, that's more than half your health with most characters. So if you do manage to be cheesy about it, then yes, I would do not go for. You can go if depending on rage, but it's more ideal to go straight into 214B A and just cash out in scenarios like that. But yes, you want to continue?
Oh yeah, no problem. Now, I forgot to mention this, so I'll mention this now. For as far as Yumi combo theory goes, her combos are very easy, but pretty much the idea is you want to do as few hits as possible into as many aerial raves as possible, which is going to be your assist, but the move is unburstable. So once you get it going, pretty much that's how you get your big damage with Yumi. Anyway, moving on to the last two specials that we have not talked about. They are both EX specials. 236C is one that you can actually see varies in how Yumi players use it. Some Yumi players use it very sparingly. Some Yumi players like to throw it out a lot. It is essentially a call-out anti-air that is a 3-hit
Mm-hmm.
low and cannot be push blocked. And it goes into aerial rave. It's an automatic like 5 or 6k if you manage to land the move. It's pretty absurd. Not too great on block, however, and on whiff,
Mm-hmm.
it's pretty terrible if they manage to jump over it. But if you have the read on how the opponent's, moving around the screen and you want to just call them out, you can anti-air somebody with a quick low.
Yes. I was gonna just bring up on that is a lot of things that when a lot of new Yumi players would see the fact that it's actually a good move. I do believe it's only 10 frames, which is woo. That's actually I believe relatively fast for an EX move. In some cases, some characters. Let me just be more certain than it is. Um, Yes, it's just yes. I know my no. Anyways, back to yes, it is only 10 frames, 3-hit low. However, if a lot of new Yumi players would actually use this on point, like just right in the opponent's face to try and clip them low. While if the opponent just blocks all of them, they just don't punish her. She's actually very negative. Just in a simple 5A for her pulling it out, and you do punish Yumi if she's right on the face of it. However, yes, just like Hope said, for me personally, I use it more as as an IED snipe, if they're trying to be cheesy, just snipe them and just go straight into aerial wave. Um, how you use this is it can be very offensively and defensively. It's such a great versatile move, and how you see it, it's honestly up to you as the player. It fits both roles fine. It fits it to what you want to do very well. um, just know that, one, do not use this move super sparingly, because uh, personally, I do believe EX Snowbird is slightly more versatile than 236C, but it's just the fact that you go straight into Aerial Wave that cannot be overshadowed of how good the move is. Um, and that's anything else you want
For that move, no, I think that about covers it.
to? Yeah. It's a very versatile move, and how you use it is honestly up to you, the player. Offensively, defensively, just learn to space that move out. Any good player that sees that you are actually too far, depending on the character, can always punish you for it. Um, so always be on the lookout how you're spacing out your 236C. Um, Other than that, you should be fine. This is a great move for active switch in scenarios that feel has now been showing for a while. But other than that, yeah, we can go on to I think the bread and butter of her move.
But I also there was one other move that I wanted to point out that had very good
Oh,
neutral use, which is 214C. 214C is another move that you use very sparingly. It's the counter. It activates on frame 4 and is an incredibly fast counter. If it hits anything, the opponent will be locked in place unless they are invincible. And pretty much, if it hits, it will go straight into Aerial Rave. And because it is an EX move, it will take it all in red health. They will have no, or rather, it will take all their red health. They will have no recoverable life off of this move if it lands. It's a little unsafe to just throw out, but you can cover it with an assist and have a pseudo DP assist set up for 1 bar of meter to just throw out neutral. And if it hits, you do like 12k because your assist is out there and you can just cross combo and do your point character's best combo off of it.
another thing that what actually is sets her EX counter off more than else, I believe, any counter in the game, is that if an assist so happens to hit her over the point character of your opponent, she's actually invul for a good set amount of period. Meaning that if your opponent tries to hit you because their assist, let's say, give an example of, let's say, Ruby 4P or Ruby 6P more hits counter, and their point character being, let's say, Narukami, goes in for a 5A, that 5A is actually going to go through Yumi because she is still considered invul, and you can actually go and do a 5A of yourself and punish him for doing it. Um, it's one of those tricky scenarios, but I believe it's also nothing to overshadow, to just say as a get off me, as well as if the assist is going a bit too ham, you can honestly I prefer spending the bar and just seeing what the opponent's going to do as the point character. As Phil was trying to show off, is that there is a certain way around EX counter. If as the point character, if you do manage to get hit by it though. Do you want to go into that, Cope?
Well, I mean, you can outspace the move. It is negative. The move is negative on her activation, or you can simply outspace it. Pretty much, the idea here is that she will swing her follow up if she thinks she can hit you. You don't have control of that anymore as the Yumi player. Actually, I
No.
think she might swing the follow up no matter what. No, I don't think it activates if
No.
the opponent's too far away. But if she thinks she can hit you, she's going to swing, and I believe that's -5 on block. So it is the opponent's turn again. So say you call an assist and then you block her counter, she'll be negative afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it's not a completely infallible move. It can also be thrown.
Yes, I was gonna say that. Yes, the two best ways to actually get over it is, first is just to grab it. A lot of people are scared that more so people just push a button, but ironically you can grab active switch or just grab as a whole, and that's universally the best option around her counter. Um, just so that you'll see the throw counter, so you know it worked. You punish her for going for that.
I think we can move on to the fun stuff, the offense. You
Yes.
want to move on? You want to move on?
Her best move, her best special move,
Oh, you want to talk about the best special move? Sure, go for it.
the best special move, 214B, 214B into A. That is your bread and butter or your go-to combo ender when you're doing her combos. Being is it 5A, 5A, 5B, 5B, 2C, 2C, 214B, B, B. I believe it's 5 hits. I never count it. I just do it because I just see the way her fans. I just count it from there and go straight to aerial wave. That is her bread and butter. That is the ender, your special move ender that goes into it. What makes this move special is that on just one hit of 214B going straight to A, it has almost little to none hit stun. I mean, hit stun. Wait,
Block
am I
stun.
doing it? Sorry, block stun, block stun. I'm sorry, I was getting mixed. My words mixed.
No problem.
Block stun. So it's relatively safe. You do get as long as you do not go into area race. So as long as you don't go 214BA, you are relatively safe for most distances. And if they somehow whatever get hit by it, if they do a DP, your best start is a 214B, going straight to A into what I prefer to call as the Virgil seatbelt loops, because I mean everyone knows how to do those, and so like it's the same thing with Yumi. Um, set up your 5P or 4P, whatever assist is best for relaunching, and just set up the 214B for truly unscaled damage. Um, Relatively, her damage with a typical 214B off non counter hit reaches about 14k, and if it is counter hit, easy 20k with certain team comps. One of the things where if you're gonna pick up this character is what point character you're gonna use her with, is to see how much damage this usual starter is with your point character, just to have an idea of if they DP, if they do something unsafe, and I am able to punish with 214B, BA. I'm sorry. What is the best way to consistently pick up this combo mid screen and corner route? To truly cash out on the opponent making a mistake. Anything you want to say?
Unfortunately, there's
Yeah.
not much we can tell you as far as how you cash out on it. You're just going to do
Yes.
your other characters' biggest moves for the most part. You see Seth here throws out orbs and does orb loops. Some characters, Adachi just does his basic combo afterwards. It really just depends on your point character. You're going to have to experiment a little bit for that one.
Mm-hmm.
But, the move by itself, I think it does something like 6,000 damage by itself. So really, whatever combo you do is going to hurt them. I wouldn't worry about it too much. Just make sure you get good damage off of it. Like, look at this.
Yeah.
And as Monkey was saying, the move is unsafe. It is 214BA. It is unsafe on block, but it's a little bit of a mix-up. So it has a dash cancel attached to it. The dash cancel beats DPs if the opponent is mashing DP, but loses to them just pushing buttons.
Yes.
However, if they're just pushing buttons, you can just do 214BA, which is her true best starter, where you just hit the A portion of 214B. And it will catch, I believe it frame traps everything, actually, unless the move's invul. But that move, if they block, is incredibly unsafe. So you play a little mix-up game with them. It's medium risk, extremely high reward, because the opponent just loses if they get hit by it. And you can also cover it with an assist if you're afraid.
Another thing to point out about going from 214B into A is she actually moves back. So if that's why, so if people are questioning, be like, why did I get hit? Shouldn't she be negative? No, she actually pushes herself back slightly, where the set move of, let's say, a 2A or a 5A or a 4A, depending on the opponent that you're playing, the button just whips all together, and they just get counter hit into goodbye to your character. It does move her slightly back, so it's something to consider when playing and using against her, and first and foremost when you're trying to burst against her. Some characters, their burst actually just goes straight down. Some are in an angle, or some just go complete diagonal, set like Weiss and stuff like that. But there are some characters that just move straight down. So if you burst an 214B and then the Yumi player goes straight to A, which is her aerial rave, it actually goes slightly back, and the Yumi player gets a free aerial rave starter for free. This is not needing an assist. This is just going straight into an aerial wave, which is 4.8, I believe, unscaled into the rest of your combos that the rest of your characters that because you burst it, so you cannot burst. You're forced to take that hit, and chances are you are dead. So just something to be very, very about if you are playing against her is that 214B 2A is a frame trap, so be very on how you burst against her doing that. It is more ideal to burst the ender of aerial rave if they try and do a combo extension, relatively because that is safe. Depending on some characters, she can be safe, but we can go address that later.
Yeah, we'll get into that with more team stuff.
Mhm.
Anyway, I know I jumped the gun last time, but I really want to get into offense. You ready?
Okay.
Don't sound too
Go.
happy about it. Come on now. Anyway, so
Okay.
let's start from the very beginning of offense. We're just gonna get to the bare bones stuff here. Her 5A is an incredible offense tool. All right,
Yeah.
it's 6 frames. It's -1 on block. This is your go-to offensive move. It's giant. They can't jump out of it easily. When you get some space, a lot of characters have a ton of trouble with this. You can do 5A with 2A into another 5A. Pretty much jails. Yumi's pressure is absolutely insane.
Yes.
This character, you know, it's almost impossible to mash out of her stuff, and if you do mash and you get counter hit, she kills you. So it's very scary. Luckily, her mix-up isn't too great, but she's all about the pressure. She's just gonna pressure you for days.
Yes. Three stackers, 6A going. I mean, 5A, just consistently doing. There are some characters like Hilda in particular, where if you actually get right in front of her, you staggering 5A is actually there is nothing she can do. Unfortunately, DP is too slow. Her fastest normal of Hilda is 11 frames, so there is nothing that this character can do but push block and try and reset the situation. So as long as you're staggering this move consistently and well, you honestly just jail her. You jail her from doing anything. Same thing with certain characters that do not have a great normal. I do believe I think it's like anything from 8 to 9 frames, mostly 8 to 9 frames. You honestly just jail them, like for free. Like they cannot move if they are in your face. Well, Yumi is in your face. That is a free jail. And the only way out is just by push blocking. I do believe that's one of those things where, as a Yumi player, is underrepresented as just as staggering. They mostly go for, let's say, a cheesy 5A into JC, trying to force, right? And sure, forcing, getting the combo would be nice because it is an overhead, right? But if you manage to just stagger, just ignore your opponent and they DP, that's better than the JC, started with an assist. That's technically a dead character. Um, so scenarios like that, you just have to be um, very wary. Is I think one of her best buttons, easily, and stuff like that. Yes, but learn to stagger with this character's 5A. Don't just try and go for the mix up of 5A, 2A, or JC. It's learn to stagger her pressure. Is sometimes even more threatening than the mix up itself.
So the 5A itself is incredible, but I'm just gonna go through everything she's got real quick, just as a general overview. Um, 5A is jump cancelable normal on block. 2A is a jump cancelable normal on block. 5A is a jump cancelable normal on block.
She is very privileged. Yes, we
2,
know.
2B is a jump cancelable normal on block. These are all things that you can do. I believe 5BB is even jump cancelable, although that one's a little rare. I don't actually remember if it's jump cancelable on block though.
I feel
But
like I get punished every time I
yeah,
go for a 5BB. So I wouldn't go for it if I think it was. But
But yeah,
yes.
so basically, you've got a ton of options to just pressure people. Speaking of 2A, also, 2A is neutral on block. A lot of characters do not have a normal that's even neutral on block like that, and Yumi can just do it. It also has incredibly low block stun. So a neutral on block move with incredibly low block stun, in my head, and I'll pass this on to all of you, means it's really good for setting up tick throws. Yumi's throw game is very strong because of this move, along with all of her jump cancels. you can pretty much just do 2A and almost instantly just throw them right afterwards, which is a very powerful first layer of offense to try to hit somebody. Obviously, if they mash it, if they're just mashing and you go for 2A throw, it isn't going to work too well. But you know,
Going on 2A is because there is not a lot of hits done. It's actually very easy to bait out moves like DPs. Fairly simple. Just because they assume the next button is coming out, but as long as you keep your stagger safe, then they're gonna DP. And yes, how we stated before, having a 214 BA starter, you're practically dead. Um, so it's one of those things where a great normal to go into tick throws as well as to just bait for another normal. If they're trying to push block and they like to push block a lot, then just do 2A, do nothing, and see them DP and throw that character away. Just play and stuff like that. Yes.
now if the opponent is just really hyper committed to blocking, as some opponents are, you can easily reset pressure in a number of ways. The first way is using 214A, her Rekka, her non-damage Rekka, her pressure Rekka, sorry. Pretty much this move has a dash cancel attached to it. The dash cancel itself is not safe, but you can do 214A. A as a frame trap, and if the opponent is blocking too much because they're afraid of getting hit by Yumi, you can just dash cancel and keep your pressure going. You can also use it to bait. You can use the dash cancel to bait DPs as well, and to just look at the screen and see what they're doing.
I think 214A is one of those moves where I think now, as the game is developed, people are very like potent to try and look for the reset, whether they're mashing or they do DP, and either option beat out 5C ender or 2C ender from 214A, and essentially then Yumi just gets blown up. It's actually one of those moves where it's best to sometimes do 214A and then do nothing, and then just watch them panic and assume it's that you're going to overcommit to like another reset, and then just watch a DP or any kind of normal come out, and you just counter poke them with a 5A, or if they DP, you just kill them for it with again a 214BA starter. So it's one of those things that as the game has progressed, people have noticed that 214A is a good move to go into a reset, but it's also both options are very negative, and the opponent can take their turn back. However, if they know that and they're pushing a button or they're trying to like DP, you can use that knowledge to just do nothing and watch them kill themselves again.
So essentially, because Yumi is such a pressure heavy character, once she gets in your face, a lot of people are going to push block her out fairly quickly. She has a couple counters to this. Like I said, most of her normals are jump cancelable on block, meaning that you can either try and call out a push block with an IAD off of one of your normals, or you can just jump to stay safe. You can throw Snowbird, the A version, which will keep some degree of pressure and go back to your zoning game afterwards. You can also do a quick little check if you really think they want to get out. Sometimes people will try to push block switch. For example, if their point character is low on health, one thing you can do 2A 236C right in their face. The 236C, as I said earlier, cannot be push blocked. And if the opponent isn't paying complete attention, they will end up push blocking you out. Still get stuck into 236C. All three hits are low. If they try to switch, they're gonna get hit by Aerial Rave and die, which is great for you.
So one of those things where a lot of people that, as Cope said, a lot of people do panic playing against this character. The most ways that after you start staggering 5A, they try and push block, right? But ironically, kind of like how Phil is showing, if you're staggering with 5A, you can easily jump cancel an IED straight back into their face and just say, well, you just wasted the bar. I'm back at it. I'm back here, right? And if you just want to be safe, right, you can ID Snowbird, right, and just see what they're gonna do, right? If they see that you're IDing a lot and they're gonna go for a DP, right, just Snowbird, delay your incoming and punish them for going for a DP. Very effective tool. Not many Yumis do that. As long as your awareness on pushback is fine, you're always able to IED and continue free pressure for her, and wasting a bar against this character is just so much easier for her to just consistently stagger you and whittle you down. If not, if you overcommit, she just kills you.
Now, at least for me, the last thing I wanted to talk about for pressure specifically is Yumi can do this thing. She has, like we mentioned earlier, J236B allows you to take actions almost immediately after you throw it. So if you TK the move during your pressure off of one of her many jump cancelable normals, so for example, if you do 5A TK 236B, you can do JA afterwards, and it's a safe jump that resets your pressure. Um, it's a little bit tricky because you're going to be pretty low to the ground. To see if Fio's having a little bit of trouble with it right here. But with enough practice, you can get it, and you just reset your pressure right then and there. You can go through all of your normals, get to a jump cancel point, and try to reset them with TK236, J236B, JA. Now, the opponent can mash that. It's something that's it's mashable. It can be DP'd and stuff. It's not a safe pressure reset, but it is a high reward pressure reset.
It's also a very good throw bait. If you just jump cancel and they're going thinking that they're going to go for a throw, just staggering 5-8. Like if they assume that you're going to go for a TRM and you go for TK 236 JB, you are actually able to punish them and you get a full combo again, and you just punish them for attacking. A very good offensive tool. Again, not many Yumis do this. I would say I'm not either. I'm just more confident in my staggers and overall pressure with the character over trying to do this, because this is a very culpable answer. Not very mine, but it is still a good one of her best tools regardless. That catches a lot of people off guard. Like right there, Fia showing that she still considers an air action, and stuff like that. So it's something that to still consider regardless.
And as you can see, if the opponent is point blank to Yumi when it happens, and they push block your 5A or something, and you did it, you still get pressure because that snowbird's angle can sometimes still hit them, which very useful, obviously. But I think that's pretty much it for pressure. Her mix-ups aren't unless there's anything else you wanted to add. I'm sorry.
No, like I think a good overall, like how can I say, if you're just one of my favorite setups to do with this character is essentially 5A 2C, and see if they're just stand blocking too much, expecting a mix up or the Rekka off of 5A or expecting 5B, and go straight to 2C. And of course, this takes a bit of practice and just try and react to if it hit or not, and go straight to an A or B Rekka. A if it's blocked because you're relatively safe and it is a block string, so you still continue your pressure regardless. Or if they get hit, it is a 2 hit, so you kind of have a bit of a window to see if they get hit by the low and go straight into her B Rekka, in which case that's just easy damage. So it's one of those easy tools you can just look into is 5A 2C, and if they block it, okay, go into A Rekka and you're still fine. And it's still your turn. They can push block it, that's fine. But again, Yumi's still safe. And if they go into, and if it hits, however, then you go in straight into B Rekka and then you just cash out for easy damage. It's relatively safe because it is a block string, as well as even if you just do 2C, 2C is only minus, I believe, 2. So you do lose your turn, but going into Rekka, you're just safe. It just becomes, you just reset the situation. It's just something to just look out for. It's one of my tools that I use as a Yumi player.
Now, like I said earlier, her mix-ups aren't the best. No, I'm just going to get this out of the way. 214A C versus 214A 2C is not a mix-up.
No.
Do not go for it. It's not safe. It doesn't lead to enough reward. People, like better players, are not going to get hit by it. You're just giving up your turn. Just focus on the pressure. But sometimes you do need to hit them. And sometimes throw is not going to be the only thing to hit them. Now, in mid-screen, Yumi doesn't have great ways of doing that outside of trying to get her assist to sandwich them. So, you would back off maybe with a jump back snowbird, TK, or jump back air snowbird, and call your assists. Try not to spend the meter and set up some form of sandwich setup mid-screen, which is nice, obviously. I mean, with a character with pressure this good, having that option by itself is usually enough. But there is one other little trick you can do in the corner, and we mentioned it a little bit earlier, but I'm going to go over it again. And that is that JC, which by itself is not the best move, crosses up in the corner. So as you can see, Yumi is, or the other Yumi, is turning around to block when Yumi JC's or JC happens. So what is happening basically is that Yumi is stealing the corner. The first hit of that JC is making them block the other direction, and then she lands back in front. So you block cross up, and then you have to go back to blocking the same side. Now JC is negative on block, so you don't get a mix up afterwards without calling an assist. But just that alone, it's almost impossible to block on. It is impossible to block on reaction, the cross up, and it's almost impossible to block it even if you're looking for it, because it's just such a weird interaction. And she has her other two air normals to go into as well. If she wanted to do that instead, she can do JB and stay same side. It's an automatic mix-up if you manage to get a jump cancel and the opponent doesn't anti-air you. It's not going to lead to too much damage, but it's great to just eliminate a character, for example, if they're low on health. And it's also great to get your assist back in or just get a couple hits. Afterwards, people tend to try and take out of the corner because they realize that they don't want to be put into that situation again, and then you can get your sandwich setups.
I do believe JC is one of those moves where it's good reward. I do believe we're going to talk. We're going to talk about it later on. JC, as good as it is not by no means perfect. But it is a good it is a good answer to just sometimes just pull out and just do every so often just as a check. As Colpevole said, it does steal corner, and you do still say same side. You are minus, however, in some characters. In some character matchups, you're actually the opponent cannot actually push a button where you can actually still push 5A and challenge your turn back. Don't do it consistently. I would not recommend it to do it often. But if you're going against certain characters that cannot challenge after JC, despite you being negative, it's so good. It's fine to go for it for a 5A. And if they know that they're negative, they can go for a DP. In which case, if you do nothing, then again, that's just a 2-1-4B to a dead character. It is very like a very versatile normal, because it is also a 2-hit low. You do have to block both hits standing. You cannot just block the first hit and then just crouch. Yeah, you can't just block the first one and just start crouching. You will get hit by the second one. So it's still a good normal. As well as Cope has mentioned earlier, you can just do JB, which again is an overhead, but does not steal corner. And because it does not steal corner, if they're assuming that you're going to go for JC, you just smack them same side. You go. If you're low enough to the corner, you actually go. And as Phil is doing it with against what was it, like Hilda right now? Is Hilda has no actual response to JC, and it's actually has to take it for the most part. But learn your spacing. There you go. God. Okay. Anyways. What was it? It's also one of those moves where you can honestly switch between JB and JC and keep them at a constant guessing of cross up or non cross up.
Yep. One other nice thing about it, although I would like to point out a correction, I do believe that the second hit of JC is actually a mid, not an overhead.
Oh, it's actually really.
I am pretty sure if Theo sets the dummy to block crouching and then switch guard, the second hit you will see Hilda crouch when she blocks it, I believe. If you set Hilda to block crouching normally. There you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
I blame
That
Justice.
It doesn't really change anything.
No.
The move's still absolutely absurd. And one of the nice things that you can do for it, if your character has a fuzzy, if your point character, I should say, has a fuzzy, and you've got Yumi on point, you can use JC active switch to set up you're fuzzy because they have to block the JC overhead, and it's got a lot of blocks done. So, you know.
Yeah. Talking about, I think one of the things we actually forgot to mention was fuzzy. Yes, this character can fuzzy for whatever reason they gave this character fuzzies. I'm not complaining again as a Yumi player, um, but she does have fuzzies against actually the majority of the cast. Is a bit situational. It usually is used in the corner, um, and it's also more so depending on your assist to create the amount of block stun that Yumi can go for a JB fuzzy. Um, that's something that I would say just look into, depending on what character you want to add Yumi to, being as she is a support character first and foremost. But it is something that when she is on point, maybe your point assist has and is able to give her a fuzzy combo, fuzziness. Anyway, I know I caught myself. I was like, well, okay. To look into what point character you should go for, maybe 4P, 5P, or 6P, gives enough hit stun that you can go for a simple fuzzy and then go straight to CC and just continue the combo altogether.
Yep. And like with most Yumi combos, the combo's going to hurt. It's not going to do as much as most of her other combos, but it will do some damage.
Yeah.
That said, I think it's not going to work on characters that she couldn't already jump loop. I don't have a list of characters. Somebody in the chat asked whether
Yeah.
it works on everyone. Sorry, I don't have a list of characters that it works on, but pretty much anyone that you could do a JBB jump loop on, which is one of her more advanced combos. Pretty much her only advanced combo, actually.
Listen. She gets two. She has two. She has two. But is it better than just go for five A into 214B? No. But she does have them for a bit of swag if you want to just style for a bit. I do believe I want to say, yeah, I do believe anyone that you can do JB. So the normal route for JB loops is 5A, 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 5B, 5B into JB, delay JB into again 5A, 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 5B, 5B, JB, JB, 5A, 2C into one Rekka straight into Area Rave. And that all is one combo.
Now, if you take too long, you're going to see here as Fio's doing. As soon as that combo timer in the right side of the screen there turns gold, your Rekka is not going to work. You can't do 2
Yes.
and 4 BA anymore. They will fall out of it. So if you have to cut it a little bit short because you've noticed you're getting very close to gold there, then it's time to cut it short. You go right into 2 and 4 BA.
Yep. I see someone can Yumi TOD anyone. I was showing it to you. She can honestly TOD off a counter hit for most of the cast with a good assist behind it.
Yeah, it's all
She does. She does a minimum of 14K. 14K. I'm sorry. 14K by herself, non counter hit, and then if it is on counter hit, she can go from 14 or 15 all the way down to 20K, all depending on what point character you're using her with. What assist? Usually they're just four Ps just to launch them up, going back into 214B aerial wave starters as a loop. But as in like the combo ender is usually depending on what point character you're using. Always something to be wary of. It is more ideal that if the point character you're using, just because of knockdown animation and damage scaling, that your character is single target. If they're single target, you have plenty of time to tag into to Yumi and just do an extra like 2K to 2.5 if it is a cross combo and scenarios like that. For the most part, yeah, she does 14K regardless, and then just depending on your assist, you can easily crack 16K at the very minimum.
Yeah, pretty much. If you can stick three aerial rays into your combo, you can get 16K.
Yeah.
Now I want to get into some more of the advanced stuff, if you don't mind.
Yes.
Unless there's anything else, I guess, about the basic stuff you wanted to add. Oh, before I get in there, actually, one thing I wanted to mention. So pretty much, when you do end a combo off of aerial rave with Yumi, you have two options. You can either go for her corner safe jump, which is just hold up after aerial rave JB, I believe it is, on the way down.
Yes.
plus assist. The only problem with that one is the opponent can take out of the corner. So if you don't mind them taking out of the corner, you can go for that. It safe jumps DPs. It's very strong. I mean, you can do mix-ups off of it too if you want to. Or you can do the safer option, which is after aerial rave backdash plus assist, and then you can get an active switch setup from there. That's pretty much
Uh,
what your corner Oki is going to be.
Yes, again, it is when it comes to these Oki like after knockdown, and depending on which of the two you go for, is very depending on what character your point character is first and foremost. Some characters like Ori, which you can just honestly just neutral jump, JB safe jump, 5P. Ori does tech. Ori 5P does catch techs, while some assist. Just putting up some random ones. I don't know, like let's just say Makoto, for instance. Like let's say Makoto 5P cannot chase, is more ideal for you for Yumi to jump back and let the assist do the work, and then create a sandwich for her, or the pressure for her, so she can try and open it up one more time,
Mhm.
and stuff like that. But there are some assists where you are blessed enough that the assist itself catches all tech, and you just let the assist do all the work, and the Yumi honestly just do one mix up or one CC for free. Yes,
So
but
I think that pretty much covers it, right?
yeah.
So the final thing I wanted to get into, because that pretty much gives a decent overview of what Yumi is. She has more advanced stuff that I want to cover right now, and this team that Fio has on the screen actually is a pretty good team to cover it. Um, so one of the big things that you want to accomplish with Yumi when you're playing the character is you really want to get a sandwich setup, and you can get sandwich setups in a couple of ways. If you're mid-screen, you can do assist plus JC, for instance, if Yumi's on point, or her 5P to lock them down and then IED over them, assuming they don't push block the 5P. That is one of the bigger weaknesses that her 5P has.
Hmm.
Um, and pretty much when you do get that cross up, the opponent's going to be in a terrible situation. So what do you want to do at that point? The most basic thing that most Yumi players do once they get the cross up and Yumi is on point, um, is that they're going to go for 214B a active switch. And that is the most damage you can possibly get off of a basic cross up setup.
In the game, in
Yeah,
the game.
there's nothing else that's going to deal as much damage as that. Um, and it's pretty much your level 1 mix. It's the mix that everyone's looking for. You
Yes.
pick when you want to active switch off of it. And if you active switch immediately after the 214B and you hit A, you'll get a cross up. And if you don't get a cross up. And if either one hits, it's unburstable. You can cash out with your point character right afterwards for 2 bars of meat, and you're probably getting about 10 to 11k completely unburstable.
Yep.
One of the best, I guess that you would say, layer 1 active switch setups in the game.
Yes, it's a very simple, just basic cross up. There's no high lows behind it. It's just the constant threat that if you do get hit with aerial wave and they delay it, and or not, is the threatening part. Now, when I mean by delay, that is honestly the more, I want to say more advanced on that mix, is that even if you're sandwiched and you're expecting it, right? If they do not, if they don't active switch the A and keep it same side, then it becomes same side aerial rave. In which case, that's still a free switch for the assist into an easy 12k combo. For an example with Adachi, I can do what was it? Active switch from aerial wave and just do a 5B, 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 2C into super, and that already uh, is about, I think, 10k at the very minimum. If I'm in CC, then that's 11 to 12k. And if it's counter hits, you can only imagine how much more. But I want to say, as a basic, straightforward, it is the basic cross up. The more advanced placement for it is whether or not you're going to delay the aerial rave, or are you going to keep it same side. Something to consider when you're playing this character.
Now, this setup does have some weaknesses. The first one is that in almost every situation of this particular setup, you can either be push blocked or it can be DP'd or super mashed or whatever. So the real question is, what are you going to do once they start answering your setup. So to deal with the opponent actually trying to answer your setup with push blocks and DPs, you're going to try to keep it a little bit more safe. This means doing things that are a bit less rewarding, maybe a little bit less tight as 214BA, but that otherwise would catch defensive options. So things like 214A 2C active switch, for example, is a loose cross up that the opponent can just jump away from, but it will beat things like push block, for example. Another example is just something as simple as doing 5A active switch 236A, which is, since it freezes, you'll get a combo off of it, and it's not a high low or anything, but it's a very safe active switch for the point character. The other option is not active switching at all.
Yes.
You're gonna have to play around with it a lot. Things like 214A dash cancel to bait DP or buttons is another option that you can do, or to look for push block. So you're not going to always just go for. And the reason I'm bringing this up is I see a lot of Yumi players just always going for 214BA as their main sandwich setup. You have a lot of options. Another very good option, although it's a little expensive, to hit them when they're expecting like a delayed cross up, is to just do 236C active switch. Yeah, Fia
Yes.
just did it right there.
Yeah.
And the reason that that's so good is that if you time it correctly, you will get what was I going to say? If you time it correctly, you get the cross up, and it's a low cross up, and you get the full combo because it's aerial rave starter, which is very good. And if you space it correctly, and the opponent bursts on block early, what happens is that they get hit by the last hit of 236C, and they still get aerial raved. Their burst gets caught. That's always funny to me. Depends on the type of
Yeah.
burst it is. Not all bursts will get caught this way, but it's just something to keep in mind if the opponent tries to burst on block a lot against you.
Now, another thing to always consider, that just a more basic approach to Yumi, sorry, is that if they see that you are going for a lot of DPs and whatnot, it's sometimes best to sometimes just let the assist take the hit, and you're still Yumi on point. In which case, now you can honestly just do an easy 7 to 8K by herself, and that's usually all non-burstable because they are DPing. Or assuming that the assist is going to active switch and stuff like that. It's not common, but if you see that they like to push buttons, let the assist do the work. Right? Don't be afraid to honestly get to try and force a situation if they're the ones like that get very antsy. Right? Let the assist do all the work, and you're still Yumi. Right? You may not have the best damaging in the sense of once your mix up is done, but you honestly always continue to keep your turn regardless. And with Yumi, that's more threatening than, let's say an aerial wave combo. It's just the fact that she's still in your face. Sometimes just let the assist do the work, and then just watch it still being your turn. Because even though you did pop CC, it's not like a burst where, mechanically speaking, burst, it takes a bit longer for you to get your cross gauge back. While if you go into CC, your cross gauge does come back slightly faster. So you can get your mix up started again relatively quickly again.
And then, of course, there's also just the nice safe switches that are completely safe to everything. The opponent's still in block stun. You can do 2C into active switch, which won't cross them up or anything, but it's a 2-hit move into an active switch, so you can keep pressure. And you can also do JC into active switch, which won't cross them up or anything again, but this is a high version of your 2-hit active switch. Not a great mix-up, but it is good for switching the characters. Say Yumi is low on health and you really need to get her off of point. That's a decent way to do it.
One of those things where sometimes one of the best starters, ironically, is to do like just like 214A C or 5C, I'm sorry, and they just active switch. That becomes a cross up overhead. That little shard that comes afterward, it becomes an overhead. And while it is slow, it does sometimes let the assist come in for free. And if you space it just right, the shard's coming in regardless. And if they try and hit the point character, Well, sure, the hit, like let's say a 5A hits Adachi, right? The Shari is going to hit them, and Adachi gets a full combo for it regardless. So one of those things to consider as a mix-up. Um, Relatively slow, they can jump it, but it is a relatively safe option for the point character to get in for free. And if they're trying to punish you, then they're going to get smacked right back for it, and the point character gets a free combo.
Now, I don't know if we're gonna actually be able to fully show this off because this one's a little tricky, but I kind of want to end this little overview by going over her corner DP unblockable. So in the corner, because she has freeze, and freeze in Arc System Works games is almost always a terrible mechanic. Just kidding, I love freeze. What happens is you can do air resets where the opponent cannot choose a direction to tech. So if you throw the opponent in the corner and you bring them to about super jump height and you end your combo with J236C, what will happen is that they will break out of the ice in the air. And because they broke out of the ice in the air, you will be able to DP them once you land on the ground. You'll land first. And you'll be able to DP them, which is an air unblockable move. Now, if you call an assist, when you do this, you can active switch into your assist. The timing's a little tough. You need certain assists for it. But if you active switch into your assist off of it, the assist will get a full combo after locking them down in place. Some characters don't have any answer to this whatsoever. It's a 1-bar true reset that's basically just a combo that just resets the damage scaling pretty much. The Field's doing the easier version here where you do 5A DP active switch. With some assists, you can literally do DP off of the assists block stun and active switch, and it will work. The timing's a little tricky, but it's definitely something worth having in your back pocket if you manage to throw them in the corner and they don't have their burst or whatever. Pretty cheap setup overall. Definitely something worth learning.
Yeah. First and foremost, this is a very specific tech. It's not something that is. It's something to have in the back pocket. It's something that if they're on their solo character, then that is something good to go for. Just because there's no way out. There is ways around it if it is too, because they can easily burst, right? But then the mind games is if you know that and you go for a move or you go for a combo, right, that lets you jump cancel it and punish them for bursting. This is something that is good to have. It's consistent. It just requires a lot of timing. Believe it's like one frame reset and stuff like that. But it's always great to have for just guaranteeing the win. Just continually gelling them in this scenario. It does cost 1 bar, so be very wary of your meter, but it is completely worth it because they can't do anything. Might as well drop the controller or the stick and just walk away.
And yeah, actually, as Gears mentioned in the chat, if you have an air DP, you can get out of it. Some characters can air super. Heart can just air J4P or J4C. So I would recommend not trying it against Heart ever. But if you're fighting certain characters that don't have a good answer, just loop it. Honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, that's pretty much the general gist of Yumi. I think we've covered about everything. Certain teams can also get funny setups with her 6P freezes on the ground. So play around with those, see if you can cross them up and do cool resets with them. Those are more team specific things though, so I can't really I can't really cover them in just a general Yumi guide.
Yeah.
But it's definitely worth looking into what you can do with your team using Yumi's more cheap and broken stuff. Yeah, Fia was doing the easier version of the setup.
Yeah.
Which can be push blocked, but is easier.
Yeah.
The other version, depending on your assist, for example, like Adachi 4P, if you time it correctly, you'll be able to active switch without letting them push block Yumi off of your DP. It's a 1 or 2 frame thing. It's a little hard. You're gonna have to
Yeah, this is not
practice it.
something. Yeah, this is one of those. This is one of those mechanics where you can abuse the game altogether as a mechanic to just your benefit. But yeah, doing that it will require a bit of practice, but it is very doable as long as your team can first and foremost be able to do it. Um, it's not something where almost any team variant of Yumi's can do it. No, this is actually very strict timing first and foremost. Um,
But yeah, I mean, I think that pretty much covers most of general Yumi stuff. Is there anything else you'd like to add there?
Not really. What was it? She's I want to say as playing with her, you first and foremost, she is a supportive character, but on point, she's actually a very Shoto type character where, um, what how I can say is that you actually have to know how to space your normals a bit better because 5B can and usually does kill most Yumis, um, and stuff like that. So learn your neutral a bit better. Use your snowbird to your best effect. Because that is one special move that is not used enough. Um, and I think anyone can honestly just pick up this character relatively easily.
Yep, I think that pretty much covers it. If anyone has any questions, and we went a little bit longer than I was anticipating. I thought this was going to be about an hour. It's about an hour and a half. Sorry, guys. Um, but yeah, if anyone has any questions for the chat, fire away. Otherwise, we can just watch Fio do snowbirds here. Um, yeah.
Um, I think the basic consent of playing Yumi is she looks like I want to say is one of those easy characters to pick up, but very hard just because of how many there are. That it's very easy to play around her. But once you are neutral, just slightly better and more stable, she is a threat regardless, just by damage and just by her special moves and assists.
Yep, she's one of those weird characters that actually requires some degree of neutral game. But once you have some degree of neutral game, she goes from, hey, this character is a little bit complicated to this is the easiest character in the game, basically.
Yeah.
Like once you understand, okay, ranges that I want to throw out 5B, all the basic stuff like that, where I hit JA, where I hit JB, all that stuff is things that you'll get the hang of just playing matches. Um, you'll be fine. Yumi's not a terribly difficult character if you want to learn her.
But yeah. I think overall, I think we covered everything that this character can do, and to look out for and to use from combos and then just basic stuff. I guess if you want, just do like the very basic. What was it? Yumi combos. Just remind it. Just is something that is more the go-to combo. It's relatively simple. It's nothing fancy, but if you're just going for 5A, that's usually what you go for. Now, if you go for what was it, Happy Birthdays, is what was it? Then you try and go quickly into an area wave just to cash out. But yeah, I think that covers. I think
If you've got nothing else to add, sorry for talking over you there.
yeah.
If you've got nothing else to add, I don't have anything else really I want to cover. And I don't see any questions in the chat, so I think we can pretty much wrap it up here. Thank
Yep.
you guys for coming out and watching our admittedly long Yumi guide.
Yes.
Have fun.
Yes, I want to see a lot more Yumis now
I
because
don't
this character.
know
I have fun with this character.
about
But yeah, she does require a bit of work. But when I mean a bit, it's just your placement in her normals. But everything else is very straightforward. And this character is very fun. Okay.
I believe, yeah, I believe that there will be a VOD of the guide, and I wouldn't be surprised if Theo also uploaded the guide to YouTube or something. Okay, there you go. Yep.
Yeah, I think Colpevole, I think we did a good job.